Hello and welcome to Dr. Fred Frizzle here, and today I'm going to be talking to you a bit about amino acid structure and just amino acids in general. So first of all, there are 20 types of amino acids. So how do we get these amino acids? Well, there's only a certain number of these that can be synthesized by our body or built up by our body. 8 to 10 of them are known as essential amino acids, okay? I write essential there. Essential. Right, so these essential amino acids we have to get from our diet, because essential just means we need them, and we have to get those from our diet because we can't synthesize them, or our body can't make them. Right, so that leads on to the next question, where are proteins made, and how are proteins made? Because I've said this is about amino acids. Well, amino acids are the monomers of proteins, which basically means they're the subunits that build up proteins. So whereabouts are these proteins actually made from these amino acids? That they're made in the ribosomes of a cell. So if I draw you a little diagram of a cell here, in the nucleus, which is just this blob in the middle, it's attached to something called the rough endoplasmic reticulum, and this has lots of little dots on it you might observe from sort of viewing a cell, and these little dots are ribosomes, and so that's where the proteins are actually made, but that's not where they're coded for. They're coded for in the nucleus by genetic information. So genetic information tells the ribosomes, if you like via the mRNA or messenger RNA, what order to put these amino acids together in order to form proteins. So that's where they're made. They're made in the ribosomes, and they're not made in the nucleus, but they are coded for in the nucleus. Just want to make that clear. And as I said here, there's 20 different types. I'm not going to go into too much detail with the different types now. And the other thing is plants and animals need them. It's not just animals. And plants get theirs from nitrates in the soil, so their roots can soak up nitrates. Like via active transport, I believe, the nitrates are transported into the roots, which lowers the water potential in the roots to enable water to flow up the plant as well. And there's hydrophobic and hydrophillic R groups. Now before I wanted to go through that, I want to draw you a diagram of like the structure of an amino acid. So I'm going to do that now quickly for you. Okay, so you have your N here, nitrogen atom, bonded to two hydrogens, bonded to a carbon with an R group. I'll discuss that in a minute. Then H up here, that's bonded to another C, double bond O, and OH. This is just an acid group. Okay, so how is this bonded to the next one of these? Well, what happens is, because there's an H here and an OH up here, these go off to make a water molecule because they're joined in a condensation reaction, which means that this is left to bond to this nitrogen on the next molecule. So this nitrogen sort of comes in here, and then you're left with obviously the two hydrogens on the next molecule. Okay, so we've got like one hydrogen up here, so that's bonded to there, and then this is bonded to another C, and then an R group here. There's only one hydrogen that's actually there, because this one's obviously used for this bond, so you actually end up with one hydrogen sticking up, and you also end up with this O group just sticking directly upwards. So that's sort of how they're bonded. And as you can see here, I've drawn the structure of it, but these three components, if you like, these three individual bits, actually have their own specific name of the amino acid. So you have this bit here, which is called the amine group, sometimes referred to as the amino group. It doesn't really matter, but the point is that's the amine or amino group, and this is the acid group. So the main point that you need to remember is that the acid group is always bonded to the amine group on the next amino acid, and the amino acids are the monomers of the protein, which basically means there's loads of these bonded together in a chain, like via these condensation reactions. And these condensation reactions, as you've probably imagined, with this two H's and an oxygen, like go off to form water. So that's why moisture actually comes out of this reaction. Right. So what was I saying? Okay, so that's condensation. Hydrolysis is where the bonds are actually split up. So we actually, because the water's been removed in a condensation reaction to join these two together, if we wanted to break them again, it doesn't take a genius to work out that we put water back in order to split that bond. So that's basically how they're split, and that process is known as hydrolysis, the splitting of water. That's all it means. Hydro is water, lysis is just generally splitting or breaking down of some description. Right, okay, so I'll discuss with you a little bit about the bonding, but I haven't said what the bonding is actually called. So this is how they bond, because they'll make this a bit more clear. This is sort of gone, essentially. I'll scribble that out because that goes off to make the water, and you're just left with this carbon to a nitrogen on the next one. This hydrogen's gone, don't forget, so it's just this sticking up, and then it's this this acid group sticking up. Okay, so the bonding is actually called a peptide bond. This bond, once it's been formed, is formed by a condensation reaction, but the actual name of the bond is a peptide bond. So okay, so we said where protein's made, so I'll tick that off. We said how they're bonded. We said this. Describe that. Hydrophobic and hydrophilic. I haven't discussed that with you. Actually, this bit in the middle, this bit here, the R is just an R group. So you're probably thinking, what on earth's an R group? An R group can be anything. So it can be like CH3, CH5. It can be any sort of functional unit, if you like, of an amino acid. So it's just any sort of compound that's bonded to it there, like can be referred to as an R group. It's just basically an extension, so it can be CH3, CH5, as I just said. But these can be hydrophobic and hydrophilic. Hydrophobic, if you have a phobia or something, means you don't like it. So hydrophobic means it doesn't like water. So if it doesn't like water, it's generally on the inside. So if I draw you the example of the phospholipid bilayer that's found in sort of every cell membrane, these are the tails here. And the heads you can think of as being quite brave, because they don't actually mind water. So these are on the outside of the membrane, the outside edges of the membrane, if you like. So, because up here we've got a cytoplasm of the cell. Sorry about the terrible handwriting. I'm writing sort of an angle, so it's quite difficult. But anyway, right. So up here you have your cytoplasm of the cell. Now the cytoplasm of the cell, because it contains a lot of moisture, you're obviously going to want the hydrophilic groups close to that. So these hydrophilic heads are going to want to have their head in the cytoplasm because it's nice and moist. Whereas these tails are going to want to be hidden, or because they're hydrophobic. So essentially this is the same principle: hydrophobic and hydrophilic R groups of an amino acid. The hydrophilic ones want to be near the water, and the hydrophobic ones want to be away from the water. So that's essentially what they are. Plants need nitrates. I've discussed with you how they're involved with protein synthesis, because they're soaked up essentially by the plant into the roots. I hate the word soaked up, actually. They're actively transported into the roots. And the last thing is soya. Why have I wrote soya here, you're probably wondering. Well, supposing you've got a vegetarian person, because most of these amino acids and proteins come from the proteins of animals, if you like, because don't forget, like, humans and animals are mostly built up of proteins. Because when humans actually eat meat, they're eating the meat of other animals, which is built up using proteins and stuff, using amino acids to make the proteins. So they get a lot of, so they actually get a lot of protein. These like meat-eating people, essentially. They're not meat-eating because they eat vegetables as well, but the people who do eat meat get this nutrient of protein, whereas the people who are vegetarian find it a bit more difficult. So soya is like derived from the soya bean, and this can provide this sort of nutrient that they need. Okay, so that's why soy is used, and that's pretty much all I wanted to talk to you about in this video. So hope you've enjoyed it. Actually, one last thing: you can also get positive and negative R groups. And obviously positive are repelled by negative. Okay, so that's all I want to talk to you about in this video. So I'll see you in the next video, and that'll be pretty on protein structure. You probably think, well, I've already done this on protein structure, but there's a lot more to learn about it, so I'll talk to you about that in the next video. So see you then. Goodbye.